And I know that there is going to be a lot of interesting things to cover here with our What's New in Sage 100 ERP 2014 webinar. With that, I'm going to introduce Ms. Ty Duncan-Whitcomb, certified consultant here at ISM, who is going to be presenting all of the new functions and features in 2014. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Ty. Thank you. Ty, are we ready to go?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Awesome. Sorry, I've been talking and I had myself on mute. All right, welcome to Sage 100 2014. I'll go through some of the features that are in the new 2014 version. Some of them are actually really neat features that have been a long time coming that will definitely help from a usability standpoint in the system. So we'll go through them, and we'll definitely have time for questions at the very end. So in between, if you have questions, just go ahead and stop me, and I will try and get those questions answered for you. So let's just dive in. Some of the new features that are in 2014 on a heart, let me stop them real quick and just talk about from a really high level on the operating standpoint. So as you know, Microsoft, and I think either today's the day or the day's ticking around, Windows XP has gone away, is no longer supported by Microsoft. Sage has followed suit, and so with the 2014 version of Sage 100, Windows XP is no longer supported. So I thought I would toss that one out there. Windows 8 is supported, and obviously Windows Server 2012 is now supported. But as of the 2014 version, Windows XP Professional, and obviously Home was never supported, but Professional is no longer supported. All right, so let's continue. So some of the new features that got thrown into the new version is we now have an auto-completion for lookup entries in customer numbers and vendor numbers and item code entry fields. And I'm going to feel like I'm flip-flopping a bit, but I figure probably the best and easiest way for us to be able to do this is I'm just going to kind of show you the features as we go along, and in that way, if there's any questions as we go along, everybody can feel free to interject and let me know. All right? So let's go ahead and let me show you that feature. And it actually is a really neat feature that I actually like quite a bit. So, all right, let's show you that feature. So over here in the system, in the 2014 version, and this is kind of what your 2014 desktop looks like when you now log into the system. You're going to notice this over here has kind of changed a bit. It's a little slicker, I guess is probably one way of looking at it in the system. Your modules will stay the same. You're going to now notice that Sage Intelligence is now a module within Sage 100, and I'm definitely going to show you a little bit more about that here coming up shortly. But this is kind of the new look and feel. So when I talk about you now have the new auto lookup that is in the system, in customer maintenance in different areas where you have to enter a customer's number, what you're now going to have here is as you start to type, you'll notice that down here, automatically the number or the name of the customer, it starts narrowing down which customers meet the possibility of the letters that you're trying to type. So as I start typing here, if I see my customer, as I type a little bit more, I might find it, and I can go ahead and then select that in the system. I now have that feature in customer maintenance. Anywhere that I need to enter a customer, I have it in vendor maintenance, and anywhere I need to enter a vendor, and anywhere I have inventory or item code entry fields that I need to be able to see that in the system. So that is now in the system where I can see that capability in the system. All right. Another new feature in the system is keeping windows open in custom reports and now in general ledger financials. What that meant was whenever you used to go into the system and if you had any custom reports over here on the menu, you never used to have the ability to keep the window open to, say, for instance, change your parameters or run additional functionality in the system. You now have that capability in the system, not just in custom reports, but you now also have it in financial reports. So down here, you now have this keep window open. So if I want to run different variations of reports in the system, I can now hit proceed, and it will allow me to keep the window open, obviously when I'm done, so that if I need to go ahead and run my financials or some of my custom reports with different parameters, I now have that capability of doing that. All right. Another new feature in the system is the repetitive invoice lookup feature in AR and AP. What that means is, and everybody will know what I mean by that, if you were to go into the system and go into repetitive invoice entry, the only way that you could see your repetitive invoices, you had to scroll kind of left and back and forth to be able to see what you had set up in the repetitive invoice entry. You now have this little flashlight button that allows you to do a lookup and see all the repetitive invoices that you've ever set up in the system. So you have this in accounts receivable, and you now have this in accounts payable in the system. So those are some of the new features that are in the system. Another place that you are now going to find that flashlight in the system that you didn't have it before, and it's been one of those ones that has been a very long time coming, is in accounts payable. So if you go into AP in the system, you remember the only way you could see your payables in the system, you had to scroll left and right to see which AP invoices you had entered into the system. You now have the ability to click the lookup, and it will then list every single invoice that you've entered into AP invoice data entry, so that you can then just select the one that you need access to and edit that one if needed into the system, and then make any changes and then save that. All right. The only other features that are key in the system is from a payroll standpoint. It just depends on yourself as an employer if you're running payroll in the system. You now have the ability in payroll in the system in employee maintenance. You now have the ability to track employer medical assistance. So if you have doing any kind of medical assistant contribution, you now have field information for that. We also now have the capability in the system. Before, you used to be able to track, say for instance, up to 16 box 12 in the system for your employees. So if your employees had box 12, you used to be able to track that information, but you couldn't report on it on the W-2. So you now have the ability to report up to 16 box 12 codes on a W-2 in the system. And then just some key features that were rolled out with the federal e-filing and reporting has now came through. And then now you can map earnings and deduction codes for if you have any employees that are working in it's not a state, it's considered, let's just say Puerto Rico, but it's one of the ones that are kind of underneath the whole United States umbrella that you can have to report on because they're part of the United States government. All right. Then Sage Intelligence. I had said we were going to definitely go and look at Sage Intelligence. I don't know, has everybody installed Sage Intelligence? Have you looked at Sage Intelligence? But Sage Intelligence used to be a separate install that if the client wanted Sage Intelligence, we had to install it as a separate install. Sage Intelligence replaced Sage's FRX, so the FRX module obviously has gone away. So this is now Sage's replacement for it, but there are other options on that, and you can reach out to Sherry. She'll let you know if you don't like Sage Intelligence and you're looking for more for the FRX look and feel. She'll give you some other alternatives. But Sage Intelligence is now listed in Sage 100 as a module, and all it is simply you just trigger the report viewer. And the report viewer will then show you all the reports that have been set up already or written in the system by either you as a user, what's come canned from Sage, however you want to be able to see that information. it is now in the system, and all it is you're simply running those reports in the system, and here it is. I now have an Excel version of the Sage stock status report. And if I need to add additional information, if I want to see maybe the item code on here in the system, maybe the product type, you can see I can add information, take different information away. It's just strictly up to me what kind of information that I want to be able to see in the system. But it's all Excel driven, so the reports are written and then it's produced in Excel format, so it allows you to do whatever you need to in the system. So Sage out of the box gives you a aggregated financial report, which is a roll-up of a lot of your segments in the system. There is some dashboard analysis that is already in the system. You have, obviously, there's financial reports, there's some trend analysis, there's an inventory report, a vendor report, and a sales report. So you have a few out-of-the-box reports that are now standard or part of the Sage Intelligence module for you out of the box. Any questions about any of that?
Nope.
All right. So then what's the last key pieces? So 2014 for Sage was really more of bringing a lot of their cloud offerings to you as an end user. So some of the key, should I say, cloud offerings was Sage Mobile Sales, Sage Mobile Service, Sage Account Billing and Payment, and then Sage Inventory Advisor. Sage Inventory Advisor actually came out about a year or so ago, so it's been out for a bit, but 2014 is when this was really part of Sage's offering it. If you're, say, for instance, you're on Sage version, Sage 2013, and you're not ready to move to 2014, these 4 features are also available to you at the 2013 version. So Sage Mobile Sales is pretty much what it does is it allows your reps or your sales reps that are out in the field to be able to take a customer order and enter them directly into your ERP system wherever they're at. It is run by an iPad. So far, I don't know if they're going to expand that, but right now it runs on the iPad or a tablet. They say tablet. I know they're working on expanding that, but it allows them to be able to take an order from a customer and put it directly into the system to close the sale. It will give the salesperson the ability to see stock, a list of the inventory that you currently have on hand, and they'll be able to see customers' order history. I know it's a bit grainy in terms of what you can see, but kind of this is the dashboard of what the sales rep has. Over here, if they're running Sage Payment, they can swipe the credit card if needed to at that time and be able to process the order right then and there if needed. Then they have Sage Mobile Service. So what Sage Mobile Services is if you have field technicians that are in the field, it will allow you on their iPhone to be able to pull up the customer's history, track repair orders, be able to take photos before and after, and also be able to process the payment while they're on site. In the system, it can also be able to email or provide estimates or receipts straight to the email to the customer, so they'll have the ability to see that. So here's kind of a look and feel of it. So here it is. It gives the salesperson, the technician, to be able to give the customer their bill, review the work in the system. If they agree, they sign off on it. They can take a credit card, check, or cash, or depending on the setup, you might have it billed back to their account. And all they simply do is then just take a credit card, have them sign their name, and they can show whether it's approved right then and there. And again, you can see the with Sage Payment, you can have the little credit card reader that's with them out in the field to allow that to be able to process that credit card. All right. Then you have Sage Billing and Payment. And so what Sage Billing and Payment is, it is a way for you to electronically send bills to your customer and receive payments. So a customer gets a log-on, and a customer can log on to the website and see a list of all their invoices that they owe you for. And you'll be able to know if they've opened it, they've read it, they've paid it, and it integrates directly with Sage. So if they go out to the billing and payment website and they make a payment, it will automatically come directly back into Sage 100 so that the payments and so on and so forth can be made. And then there's different statistics that you can get. So this one shows invoices to be printed, monthly click to pay, so you can see if customers are taking their invoices and clicking on it and making the payment right away, or if emails are being returned, which means then obviously you need to update the email address for that customer so that the invoice can get to the right person. All right. Last but not least, is Sage Inventory Advisor. It is a web-based solution that gives you the ability to let you know what's on hand and send alerts to you to let you know when you're going to be running low. It looks at your inventory, it's pretty much it's a forecasting tool for your inventory. And then based off of the inventory replenishment levels and the different things that you set up in the system, it will look at your stock levels in the system and then suggest what you need to do to make sure that you're ready for demand, and also making sure that you're not ordering also at the same token too much stock. Obviously, everybody's goal is to maintain optimal inventory levels. So the Sage Inventory Advisor is a great way for you to make sure that your inventory stays exactly where it is and then provides those alerts to you to be able to make sure you stay on top of that. So here's kind of what the Inventory Advisor looks like. Is your dashboard when you log in. It gives you kind of how much stock you're holding, what your current fill rate is, what your stock outs are, and then it simply breaks it down by item code, different items maybe potentially that you obviously are running out of, how much you have too much of in the system, which will stay there until you kind of get a handle of what we need to do to stay right where we need it to be. All right. There will be future webinars coming that will go into Sage Intelligence, mobile sales, mobile service, Inventory Advisor. Obviously, I'm missing Sage Billing and Payment in a lot more detail. Obviously, this is a high-level 2014, but we will definitely be having more webinars where we go through each of those and kind of give you a more deeper dive into those in future webinars. Just shoot Sherry an email, and she'll get you that information. Does anybody have any questions? We've gone through it. I know it's quite quick, but we've pretty much gone through what is new in 2014. Everybody have any questions?
No, I'm good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. If you have any questions, the email on here. I was going to say the email, if you have any questions after this, the email address is am@goism.com. Just shoot an email there, and somebody will definitely get a question answered for you.
Great. Perfect, which was just what I was going to reiterate. And, Lyle, I'm not sure if you'd like, I can also send you 2 brochures. I can send you what's new in 2013, which was the last version, as well as what's new in 2014, so you can look over all of the changes.
That looks good. That sounds great, Ty. Thank you. I'd like to receive those.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
I'll send that to you right after the meeting, so I'll get that off to you.
Awesome. Thank you again.
Ty, thank you. Ty, I want to thank you for a very informative and beautiful presentation on this. We look forward to doing more. And everyone, I want to thank you and tell you to have a wonderful day and a wonderful week.
Thanks to you, too.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.